Silly-boo, everybody! Welcome back to the HabWrap. I'm your host, Harry Rice. You are listening to the friendliest and funniest source for anything and everything Montreal Canadiens. And we've got some things to talk about. That's right. I didn't come up here yesterday to talk about the trade that went down. I did a short, which I'm sure most people who are watching this have seen that. So if you want my very, very quick thoughts on the Phillip Danault trade, then you can go check that out. But I will give a small bit of analysis here really quickly in a minute. But we've got that. And the Canadiens played a game tonight. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hockey happens. Yeah. We had the second of 3 games in the last 10 days against the Pittsburgh Penguins. We also, again, play them tomorrow on Sunday. We will, of course, be up to recap that game, as always. But this one tonight, again, the first half of a back-to-back. The Canadiens hoping to continue playing well, especially after the game they had against the Chicago Blackhawks, and it might be a bit of a rebound. We shall see. We'll see how the end of the game, by the end of the game, the Canadiens played. However, again, before we do get into the game, the lines, the stats, and all that stuff, we have a trade. The Montreal Canadiens, for those of you who have not heard, have reacquired Phillip Danault from the Los Angeles Kings. That's right. We have traded for Phillip Danault. We trade out the 2026 second-round pick that we got from Columbus in the Patrick Laine trade. Of course, those of you who remember that trade, remember it was Jordan Harris to Columbus. In exchange, the Canadiens got Patrick Laine and Columbus 2026 second-round pick. So it is not our own we get rid of. We do get rid of we do get rid of an early second-round pick, which, I mean, fair enough. Phil Danault this year, unfortunately, just has not been having a great year. He has just 5 assists, but a +3 in 30 games played. The system just has not been working out for Phil Danault, unfortunately. He is only 32 years of age. He's signed until next year. He has a $5.5 million cap hit. Danault, before the season, has been relatively good for the Los Angeles Kings. He came in his first year, and he put up a career high, doubling his career high previously of 13 goals. He put up 27 goals and 51 points, which was not a career high. However, the next year, he would put up a career high 54 points. Danault has always been a reliable 40-50 point scorer. He can put up, again, 40-50 points. He's good for about 15 goals a year, 30 assists. He's a good 2-3C. He had a pretty good playoffs in 24-25. In 6 games, he had 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. And, of course, us Canadiens fans, we know Phillip Danault. Of course, he was here with us, of course, because of that incredible trade where we dealt Fleischmann and Weiss over to Chicago. We got Danault and the second-round pick that became Alexander Romanov out of that trade. I believe that was done at the trade deadline. So we've known Phillip Danault from 2016 to 2021. We know great defensive forward. He formerly was the first-line center, so getting to see him without that much stress of, hey, you got to perform like the 1C. Instead, he's just going to be relied upon to be a second-line center, probably, maybe the 3C. I would imagine they don't really want to break up that second line, so I imagine Danault probably does slot in on the third line. But, again, great defensive center. He wins faceoffs. He can play penalty kill time. He probably takes the time away that Suzuki's getting right now just to allow Suzuki to get a little more probably 5-on-5 time and a little more power play time as a result. At the very least, it's to just allow Suzuki to catch his breath and get comfortable just playing. Probably a minute or 2 less a game, I would imagine, which can go a long way. That's 3-4 shifts worth. Danault, do I expect him to rebound offensively? Yeah, probably. I don't think he's obviously not going to get, 40 points in the last 50 games of the year. That's incredibly unrealistic. Could I see 20 and 50? Yeah, I could see him rebounding into a very solid half a point per game type of player. Depending on who he's with. If he's going to be with Anderson and Texier, with Texier, he's probably going to put up some points. With Anderson, it depends on what Anderson he gets. If he gets early season Anderson, he's not going to get points. If he gets the Anderson as of the past, 10 to 15 games, he might actually get some points. I honestly have no clue. But regardless, I'm a big fan of this move. I did see some Canadiens fans, just a couple, but mostly people who don't know hockey, saying that, oh, well, the Canadiens overpaid for Phillip Danault. In my opinion, no. I mean, we have a lot of prospects in the system already. You know, we have, if I could just look at Laval really quickly, like not even getting into, and whatever, I'll pull up cap wage to see who we haven't signed. But if you look at, I'm going to open Florian Jacka because he's in Laval right now. Like you look at our AHL from the young guys, we've got David Reinbacher on the blue line down there. We'll just look at forwards. We've got Reinbacher is playing pretty well, by the way, so far. Tyler Thorpe, who's probably going to be a good fourth liner when he's in the NHL. Philip Mazar, which if he makes it, probably a bottom six guy. Florian Jacka, who's probably a really good bottom six energy type player. Josh Wall, which I'm still super baffled by him. Same with Sean Farrell. I don't think they're going to pan out. But you never know until players are like 26, 27. It's so weird. And then even if you're just looking at, or not just looking, but if you're including unsigned guys, Alexander Zurofsky, who looks like he might end up being a top six talent. Personally, I would imagine maybe third line, good type of offensive player there. You've got Hayden Papanakis, who's probably a bottom six center. Atos Koivu, even though I know he probably won't pan out, still got to mention him because he's a Koivu. Michael Hage, of course, at center. LJ Mooney at center as well. We have prospects. Logan Sawyer, probably a really good grindy fourth line player if he ever pans out. The Canadiens have prospects. We've got enough guys to fill out the depth on this team if we want to go exclusively young. So giving up an early second-round pick isn't really that big of a deal, in my opinion, especially if it's for third-line talent. That is basically the going rate. And plus, I would imagine, given that Danault requested a trade and it kind of got out there, you got to imagine it went around to the NHL. What might have started out as, say, a fourth-round pick as the asking price. We'll offer you a third. We'll offer you a third and a prospect. Montreal comes along. Hey, what do you want for Danault? Oh, well, we like Jake Evans, which this is the rumor that the Canadiens, the Kings, wanted Jake Evans. They were willing to give up, the Canadiens were willing to give up, I believe it was Owen Beck, and then they eventually settled on the second round pick. So I'm completely fine with giving up a pick like this because the likelihood, as you get your picks later in the draft, obviously, the less likelihood they are to make it in the NHL. The Canadiens recently have had a very good track record of finding gems in the second, third, fourth round. So sure, getting a second round pick might have helped us get a fourth line player 6-7 years from now. I just realized what I said. Damn it. But might help us get a fourth line center in the long term. But in the short term, that's not going to do anything for us. That you can trade that second round pick, get rid of what's going to be a fourth line center, and bring in a guy who knows the system. He can be reliable defensively, something that the Canadiens do need. Yes, they need a defenseman, and Fowler and Dobesh might be consistent goaltenders. Fowler for sure is a consistent goaltender, especially after tonight, which we'll get into. But Danault at least helps one of the three Canadiens' issues. We wanted to trade a little bit of the future for a present, and we got it. Phillip Danault, again, knows the system. He knows some of the players. Suzuki, Caulfield. No, he wasn't here for Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky was 22. Anderson, Gallagher, Evans, maybe Matheson. I actually don't think he was around for Matheson, though. None of the blue liners he knows, none of the goalies he knows, so he knows a good bit of the forwards. You would imagine, I would actually personally imagine they might end up going a third line of Anderson, Danault, and Gallagher, just because those guys know each other. The chemistry is clearly there. I'd imagine that's what they end up doing. The only issue is that probably means that Owen Beck, despite scoring tonight, probably is scratched Tuesday against Boston when Danault is expected to join the team. However, that's the deal then. You can never have too much good depth. And you know what? I'm very happy with having the amount of depth that the Canadiens are slowly starting to gather, at least at center. As for the wings, jury might still be out on that. So, yeah, the Phillip Danault trade, I think it's a good one for the Canadiens. We're already 10 minutes in. You guys are probably wondering when the hell are we going to talk about the game. Well, we're going to do that now. The opening lines for the Canadiens are Caulfield, Suzuki, Bolduc, Slafkovsky, Kapanen, Demidov, Anderson, Beck, Texier, and Veleno, Evans, Gallagher. On the blue line is Matheson, Dobson, Hudson, Carrier, Jack-Eye, Engstrom. So Struble is the healthy scratch with Mike Matheson returning from his day-to-day injury. He missed the 2 games. Going, what was it again, 1-1-0 with Matheson out of the lineup. So, going 500. I'm sure the Habs are quite fine with that. And Jacob Fowler gets the start in net for the Canadiens. As I put pregame, he may be sent down, and we'll get into why in a second. Jacob Dobesch backs him up with Monty still on his conditioning loan. That's right. Of course, with Samuel Montembeault on his conditioning loan, he can't stay down there forever. He is going to have to get a call-up. He apparently played pretty well in his second game in Laval, so that's pretty good. Dobesch doesn't need waivers, neither does Fowler, so either of them could get sent down. With the way you played tonight, I think you're going to have to send down Jacob Dobesch. I think Dobesch has played good this year, but if you want to try and get Monty going again, especially after the way he played in the last Laval game that he played, Jacob Dobesch has got to get his ass to Laval. Dobesch still hasn't a below 900 save percentage, so does Monty. Monty's older, he's more experienced. He should have that leeway in the NHL. So don't be surprised if Dobesch ends up being the one who's sent down, assumingly Monday. I know there's the roster freeze that's going on right now, so I don't know if you can call up guys. I imagine you'd be able to with injuries, which is something we will talk about, unfortunately. But I would imagine with injuries or whatever, you'd still be able to call up. I think the roster freeze is basically just a trade freeze, though, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Regardless, enough rambling. The opening lines for the Penguins were Novak, Crosby, Rust, Mantha, Raquel, Brazo, Koivunen, Kindle, McGroarty, and Dewar, Hayes, Achari on the forward lines. Witherspoon, Carlson, Kulak in the tank, and Shea Clifton. So Habs legend Brett Kulak returns with the Penguins. I believe his 3rd game with the Penguins. Good for him. Stuart Skinner starts for the Penguins, and Archer Silovs backs him up, as he will probably, you would imagine he has to, go tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Again, who starts tomorrow? I imagine it's Dobesch. I imagine they would have already called up Montembeault if he was going, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dobesch. I think Laval actually played today. I think that's the game that Monty played in. But, yeah, I imagine it's going to be Dobesch tomorrow. As for Tuesday, more than likely Fowler. Let's talk about it. So in the first period, Evans has a good hit on Novak. He gets a pass off to Veleno, who gets on a rush, but the shot is blocked. Carlson turns the puck over, but the Penguins do recover. I'm sure they're used to his countless turnovers by now. And the Habs go to a penalty kill at 2:04 in. Arbor Jack-Eye is called for a board. It's a good hit, but it is unfortunately all numbers, so a very understandable call there. That is on Ruckert and McGroarty. Thankfully, no injury to McGroarty, but just, it's one of those where, yeah, all numbers probably call that a 2-minute, which they do. Matheson gets a good clear off the board early, off the draw, sorry. Habs get another clear. They barely let Pittsburgh get set up on this one. Very shockingly, Penguins coming into tonight had the 3rd best power play in the National Hockey League and the first best and the best the best road power play, which is really surprising. I would not have thought that they'd have that good of a power play. But then again, I don't think Canadiens fans thought the Canadiens would have the 5th best power play at this point. There's a shorthanded rush for Veleno. He drops to Dobson. He takes the shot, but the rebound can't be found by Kapanen. Anderson then shorthanded moments later, goes off the post. Habs are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill tonight. Anderson loses an icing call, so he shoves the Penguins player. As I put in my notes, Pittsburgh get a near shorthanded, get a near cross crease that's poked wide. Habs get a 2-on-1 as a result. Suzuki goes over to Texier, but the shot gets deflected wide of the net. Hayes then gets on a breakaway off of an Engstrom turnover. There's a good pad stop for Fowler, along with the rebound. The Habs then ice the puck moments later, so Fowler with 2 saves there. get used to hearing that as we get closer to the third period. There's a good rush from Montreal. Slav has a backhand just stopped. Kapanen and Slav with two good shot blocks in a row. I believe that was the one later is on Erik Karlsson. This one might have been on Letang. Good on Kapanen and Slafkovsky. Huge respect to that. Skinner the other way freezes on a good Jack-Eye shot off the bench. Evans had gone down the tunnel 3 minutes in. He took a bit of a weird knee collision. Not like a knee on knee. Not like anything like that. But there was just a weird bump into each other. Evans immediately grabbed his knee and he went off and he would not return. They announced it in the second period. I put it in my notes here that he wouldn't return. And yeah, sure enough, the Canadiens, like I said, they put it on Twitter right at the start of the second period that Evans will not return. So Canadiens very lucky that they traded for Philip Deneau. He'll be in Tuesday, like I said, but tomorrow it's probably an emergency call-up. I don't know if it's going to be Jared Davidson again. I don't know if they're just going to go someone like, say, Florian Jack-Eye, not necessarily to beat up whoever injured Evans, but just, I like Florian Jack-Eye. I want to see him get more NHL games this year. And they, assumingly go Veleno at center. I don't know if they're going to do something like that. But regardless of what they do, I really hope Evans is okay. Hell, if he's good to go tomorrow, maybe it's just a thing where it's too sore for him to play on tonight, and tomorrow he's good to go. Hopefully that's the best case scenario. But if he is out, then God, I hope it's short term. I don't want to look tomorrow and see Jake Evans is seeking a second opinion for his knee injury, and it's And it's also the worst time to get injured too, because everybody's about to go off for Christmas, and Evans might have to be dealing with a goddamn knee injury at that. That always sucks. So hopefully Evans is fine. Again, hopefully it was just I can't play tonight, I'll probably go tomorrow type deal. Hopefully it's that. Best case scenario, obviously. Well, technically best case would have been he returns tonight, but you get what I mean. Suzuki at the line holds a puck in. There's a good shift as he centers to Caulfield, but Kulak with a nice D play there. A great shift for the captain as well. He goes to the slot for Caulfield, who just can't get it on, or can't get on the puck. Sorry, no. In the slot, Suzuki passes to the right goal line, but Caulfield just can't get it before Skinner. Skinner covers. Penguins top line press. There's a shot from Shea, blocked in front. Habs get a break chance with Suzuki and Caulfield in. The pass, though, is unfortunately a no-go, but Bolduc picks it up as he's late. The shot gets blocked. Hudson then jumps in on the offense. There's a chance. Another one as Bolduc goes for Suzuki, but the one-timer is saved by Skinner. Habs are looking good already. Jack-Eye active in a play. I said hemming the Habs in. I meant hemming the Penguins in. He finds Veleno, but that's just off the pad and out. Penguins press at this point. At this point, there had been about 6 minutes without a whistle. There's then 7 minutes without a whistle. A lot of back and forth hockey. This game was very entertaining. This was a very, very fun game for Canadiens fans. And I would argue Penguins fans up until I don't even know. I think even despite the way they lost tonight, I think it was still probably frustrating, but a somewhat entertaining game for Penguins fans. At least I hope it was. Habs press, there's a drop from Hudson to Veleno. There's a shot tipped by Beck, but that's stopped. And then we get the first whistle in 7.5 minutes. The Habs go to a power play. Hayes is called for a trip on Dobson. Habs set up real early. Slav finds Caulfield, but there's a stick that breaks that up. Habs pass, they're getting open, and we score! Caulfield at the side of the net. That doesn't go in. He eventually gets it back, and to Slafkovsky in the slot. And he scores. Juraj Slafkovsky, his 10th goal of the year. Good on him. He scores from Caulfield and Suzuki with just 3 minutes and 19 seconds left. Habs are 1-for-1 on the power play. Good vision by Caulfield. I love that he wasn't afraid to take that short side shot before getting it back and passing to Slafkovsky as well. I love that he's willing to try those kind of ballsy, let's see if it goes home type goals. I love that. Penguins press. Crosby has a backhander that goes wide. Matheson has a bank off the boards right to himself. I like that type of creativity. More of that, please, Mike. Jeez. Penguins do control for a moment. Fowler has a stop off some board play. Habs then go the other way, and we score and hold the game. Pause it for 25 minutes. Owen Beck has scored his first in the NHL. We thought he scored earlier in the week. That got called off. We thought he scored last game, but no, he didn't. And he finally did it. He gets on a clean break. Great speed. I didn't see who he not even deked out of their skates. They just fell over for the Penguins. But Owen Beck, he's in. He goes top shelf. And he makes it 2-0 Canadiens with 1:11 left. He scores from Gallagher and Hudson. Gallagher immediately beelines to the net to grab that puck. Owen Beck, he's looking like he might be a good energy fourth-line center in the future. Hoping that he is. The Habs fans chanted Skinner, not just after both goals, but after every time he touched the puck. They would start a Skinner chant. That would happen throughout the rest of the night, and my God, just the Habs fans are absolutely insane. I love that. I absolutely love that. We were not afraid to try and get in Skinner's head tonight, and we did it. We clearly did. Yeah, so the shots are 10-9 for the Canadiens after the first. They've got a 2-0 lead. In the second period, Fowler early on makes a big stop on a wide-open Connor Dewar. A good pad save there. Penguins ice the puck after a small press. Anderson delays on a possible shot and ends up turning the puck over. The Habs do recover, but the top-line press, Matheson does eventually get a shot. Caulfield then goes for a skate with the puck. Eventually, there's a Dobson shot that gets held. Early in the second, the Habs are reading the Penguins well. After that Dewar chance, they did not let the Penguins get much of anything. The defensive minds of the Canadiens were a lot better tonight than they've been recently. And I'm hoping that along with the previous game, starting with this game forward, we're out of that slump we were on for a while, and we're realizing our bad habits and correcting them fully. And I really hope that going forward, the Canadiens play the way they've played the last two games, and not the way they were beforehand. Penguins press right after I say that. Hudson gets held out for 2 minutes. He does eventually spring Texier, but there's no goal, unfortunately. Habs in press, but the play is blown down when Crosby is down. After a high stick from his own man, it looked like it was Kulak. That gets right in his eye. Actually, it's the corner of his eye, basically. That had to have hurt. He would go down the tunnel. Thankfully, would come back, so it wasn't super, super bad. I believe he got stitches to prevent blood. I forget exactly what they were calling it, but it might have been stitches to prevent blood from, getting into the eye, because when that happens, blurriness, and it's not good to have. So, yeah, thankfully Crosby would eventually come back. Not that would help the Penguins, surprisingly. Penguins do press. McGroarty has a shot stopped as he comes off the bench to join the play. Koivunen just can't get the rebound. Habs then go the other way. There's a first-line press. Caulfield gets 2 good looks. Skinner finally covers after he sprawls out. Bolduc pokes out a puck. McGroarty doesn't like that. We get a small little scrum. Penguins look. Brazeau goes just wide of the net, and I believe that's out of play. That brings us to commercial. Fowler then good stops on a tip chance. No clue how he made that. It was a tip basically right in front of the net. Got the pad out in time. I'm calling it Price 2.0. Penguins press. Novak has a shot just wide of the net. The Habs then go to a penalty kill. Suzuki gets pressured and unfortunately just flips the puck out right over the glass. He's called for delay of game. Again, puck over glass. Penguins press early. There is eventually a clear out of the zone. That goes all the way back to Skinner right at the top of the zone. He came out to play that. Kapanen gets a clear. Oh, but wait. No, he cleared it right to Josh Anderson. He's on a break. And he scores. That is right. Josh Stone Henderson makes it 3-0. He goes just over the glove of Stuart Skinner with 7:46 left. He gets his 7th of the year. He scores from Oliver Kapanen. It's 3-0. The Penguins push. They don't get any shots. The Habs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. Habs then look for one. Suzuki goes to Caulfield on a near 2-on-1. The backhand is just stopped by Skinner. Penguins ice the puck right after. Habs end up on a break after a missed Raquel chance. Slaps in on a 3-on-1. The shot gets stopped. The rebound Engstrom. And that one is stopped with the pad of Skinner. He then sends it out of play with the deflection on that Engstrom rebound. Penguins press. There's a chance for Mantha, and another good pad save by Jacob Fowler. Slavkovsky off a good breakout from Demidov. He looks, but he's held up though. Caulfield on 2-on-1 centers for Anderson. The shot is just off the post. That would have been cool to see Josh Anderson get a second of the night, second of the period. However, regardless, Habs have the 3-0 lead. The shots are 16-13 for the Canadiens as well. How will the third period go? Well, let's get right into it, and we'll find out. Jesus, hold your horses. 4 minutes in, that's right. It took a little while for the period to get going. Habs in their own zone try to break it up, but they just can't. Penguins get called on a hand pass. Kindle nearly gets on a break, but there's a nice stick to break that up. Habs go back to... Ben Kindle, by the way, was all over the ice tonight. I noticed him a lot. The Penguins have a good one there with Kindle. I think he's going to be a real solid player for them. And Ben Kindle, he's good. He's still 18, too, right? I should mention as well, on Beck's after Beck's goal, Kindle was taking the face-off with him, and they even mentioned it on the broadcast, but very Crosby, like, just, hey, congrats on the goal. Just said something to Beck about that real quick. That was pretty cool. That was really awesome to see. The Habs go back the other way. Slav tries to center for Bolduc, but that gets deflected. Habs nearly get a... This is a weird... It's a weird play. So the Penguins are pressing. Two Penguins end up going down together. They kind of trip over each other, it looks like. The Habs nearly get a 5-on-3 rush. Slav eventually goes to Andy, who just misses wide. Yep. Matheson's then hit from behind. Andy, who's on the ice, doesn't go after it. Looked like Dewar. It might have been a Chari, but I think it was Dewar. Very surprised by that. Habs then go to a penalty kill 8 minutes in. Hudson's called for a soft cross check on Dewar, so I think it was a Chari who hit Matheson, but Hudson's called for a very soft cross check. I noticed that was kind of a trend today because Draisaitl got called very similarly for a bit of a soft cross check in the Minnesota Edmonton game earlier this I would say afternoon, but it's probably going to be after midnight. It's actually probably going to be after 1 a.m. when I upload this because it's probably only getting uploaded after Saturday Night Live. Yeah, how about that joke swap, eh? Yeah, I love Saturday Night Live. Crosby has a backhander just out of play. I say that like it's sarcastic, but legitimately, I've been watching a lot of SNL recently. Raquel in front gets a look. There's a save by Fowler. There's a one-timer 35 seconds in, and Fowler holds again. Crosby has a right circle wrister. That's also stopped by Fowler. Veleno has a stretch for Suzuki. That shot saved, though, by Skinner. Crosby's out for a total of 3 minutes during the power play. Well, he was out there for the minute before the power play and then the full 2 minutes of the power play. He ends up diving at a loose puck with a second left. Fowler makes another save. I believe that is 6 total on the power play. The Habs are 3 for 3. Letang then knocks down Demidov. Penguins have a press. There's a chance for Raquel. Crosby whacks, but Fowler holds. And we've got a goalie pull with, get this, 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. You do not see that very often. I know Patrick Waugh, when he was the head coach of Colorado, 2013, pulled a goalie halfway through the period. But actually hearing, hey, there's a goalie pull with 7:20 left while you're actively watching the game, it's a bit weird. Caulfield looks for Veleno, but that's picked off. Matheson then tries, but it's just barely wide. That would have been cool to get him a goal on his return. His return to the ice. But speaking of ice, it's an icing on Montreal. Again, just barely wide by maybe a few feet. Gallagher gets hit hard. Suzuki finds Veleno with 5 minutes left. He just misses. Suzuki has a shot block on Erik Karlsson. That's where this happens. Veleno does the same seconds later. The Habs fans stand and clap for that one. Fowler holds with 4:06 off of a long-range shot. Anderson misses the empty net. Slav then hits the outside of the post on it's one of those at the boards just kind of spin and fire. You're sort of not really looking, but you know where to fire. Just Jesus. Anderson then ices it with 3:20 left. Slav misses just wide. There's a Kapanen chance blocked, and they finally score off of a turnover. Anderson gets it, just fires it down, and with 2:58 left, unassisted, Josh Anderson with his 8th of the year, 2nd of the night. that will ice it. Despite the Penguins' really, really good pressure, they played a very good third period. They just could not beat Jacob Fowler. Fowler has a good stop on a long-range shot with a tip right in front. Penguins press with a minute. Jesus. Penguins press, say that 5 times fast, with a minute left. There's a good chance as Novak on a wrap gets stopped on a ROP, apparently. I'm very British. Jack-Eye then with a hard hit with 20 seconds left. You love to see that. None of the Pens go after him, surprisingly. Yeah. And now, with the game over, Jacob fucking Fowler. A 31 save shutout. Your final shots, 31-21. The Penguins doubling their shots after the second period, more than doubling them, outshooting the Canadiens 17-6 in that third period. And a lot of that is because of the power play, where Fowler was the best penalty killer. They had, again, I think 6 shots there. And with the empty netter, they got 3-4 good chances. The Penguins played a good third period, but Jacob Fowler played a great game. Jacob Fowler with his first career shutout. He is now 2-0 against the Penguins in his very short so far NHL career. You gotta consider starting him again tomorrow. No, actually, genuinely, please don't. Please don't start Fowler again tomorrow. He's probably very tired. Let the boy rest. Let the boy get a little bit of rest. So the Canadiens, again, win it 4-0. A huge win. The Canadiens and Jacob Fowler, really Fowler needed a rebound after his last 2 games. And the Canadiens get one as well. My God. Oh, what a game for the Canadiens. We now sit second in the Atlantic Division. Well, I say now, but given how the standings changed all the last 2 days, we're back, I should say, to being second. We are 1 point back of Detroit with a game in hand. That game will be tomorrow. And 1 point ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have a really good goal differential. Please get to first by the end of the year, because I don't feel like playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'd rather beat someone else in the first round. Kidding, obviously. For real, though, I'm just happy to be in the playoffs right now. The Canadiens, obviously, are in the playoffs, not me. I specifically will be in playoffs. No, obviously you get what I mean. The Canadiens in the playoffs right now. Very happy about that. And, Jacob Fowler is Carey Price 2.0. And my God, just a great win. Let's get into the stats and let's talk about Nick Suzuki. 10 goals, 30 assists, 40 points leading the way for the Canadiens. If Suzuki is not on the Team Canada Olympic team, I don't know what the hell they're doing. But he's leading the Canadiens. He's the captain. Nick Suzuki is a guy. Nick Suzuki is a guy, and I'm super happy to have him as my captain. Cole Caulfield, if he's not on the American Olympic team, I don't know who makes it. He's got 17 goals leading the Canadiens, 18 assists for 35 points. Lane Hutson has 5 goals and 27 assists for 32 points, 10 assists in his last 6 games. He is, I believe, now the 11th youngest NHL defenseman to hit, or he is the 11th fastest NHL player to hit 100 points, I believe. Or he's the 11th quickest. It's something like that. I know it took him, what was it again? It was 112 games. Correct me if I am wrong. I'm gonna hockey DB this real quick. 119 games for him to hit, 100 points. He's got 32 and 35 so far, which, if you had told me, hey Harry, Lane Hutson is going to be on pace for 75 points this year, I would have told you, hey, look, he's going to hit 75 eventually, probably in 2-3 years. This year, he's probably slightly down. He's more at 50, which obviously still could happen, but in the last 60 games of the year, him only getting, or last 50 games of the year, him only getting 20 points, I don't know if I see that being the case. Regardless, Ivan Demidov with 7 goals and 19 assists for 26 Pointerinos. Juraj Slafkovsky's got 10 goals and 11 assists for 21 points. Noah Dobson with 5 goals, 14 assists and 19 points. Oliver Kapanen, 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 points for him. Zachary Bolduc has 9 goals, 7 assists for 16 points. Michael Matheson, again returning from his injury, 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points. He is on a 5-game pointless drought. Josh Anderson with 8 goals, 4 assists for 12 points. Alex Newhook, who is still unfortunately hurt, with 6 goals and 6 assists for 12 points. Brendan Gallagher, 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. Jake Evans, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points. Alexander Carrier, he has a goal, 8 assists for 9 points. Kirby Dach, who's unfortunately still hurt, has 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points. Alexander Texier with 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. Jaden Struble, I should say, with his tenure as a Canadian. Jaden Struble with 5 assists. Joe Veleno, 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. Caden Gooley, who's unfortunately still hurt, and Arbor Jacki both have a goal and an assist for 2 points. Owen Beck, he's got a goal. Patrick Laine, who's unfortunately still hurt. Florian Jacki, who's in Laval, and Jared Davidson, who's also in Laval. He got sent down officially today. This morning, I believe, actually. They all have an assist each. Arbor Jacki leads the Canadiens with 4 fights. Jaden Struble's got 2. Josh Anderson, Joe Veleno, Caden Gooley, and Florian Jacki all have a fight as well. So yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share, and everything. Share with anybody you know, such as a Canadiens fan or a hockey fan who you think might be. I just turned on my Xbox. My apologies. Such as somebody who you think might enjoy listening to a Canadiens podcast. They're a hockey fan just looking for a Habs podcast, or someone who you think might enjoy listening to some fat kid from Quebec talk about the Montreal Canadiens for half an hour after every game. Yeah, again, don't forget to like and comment if you're on YouTube. Hit the follow button if you're on Spotify, Amazon, wherever you might be listening to this. My name is Harry Rice. I've been your host for tonight. And always remember, no matter how good we are like last year, how good we are like this year, or how great we'll be in the future, go Habs go, Allez Montreal, and say with me everybody, c'est le but!